Hello and welcome to my channel, Talisman Tarot. In this reading I want to ask these Waite tarot cards here, and also Spirit directly through channeling, about, does the person on your mind talk about you in therapy? I know it's a little bit of a juicy topic, but it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, so no better time than the present. So yeah, I'm gonna do it now. And I have 5 groups here that you can choose from. And you know, I have chosen that it's gonna be postcards that are gonna be the significator for your group. And it's mostly because I like these Alphonse Mucha postcards. I find them to be very beautiful. But there isn't any messages on the postcards, by the way. I know that that might be a little bit confusing to some people, that I have postcards as significators for the groups, but there's no message. Like, it's like having envelopes and there's no letter inside of them. And I get that, but it's just because the imagery is beautiful, so I'm just hoping that the imagery can somehow work together with your intuition. And so yeah, I'm gonna start with showing you the group number 1 here. This is group number 1. This is group number 2. This is group number 3. This is group number 4. And this is group number 5. So I will ask you to use your intuition and choose the group that speaks to you the most, the group that catches your eye, and that group will be your group. And if you need any more time to choose, you can just pause the video. You can also wait until after this introduction. There will be an image of the groups a little bit closer up to the camera, and then you can maybe choose a little bit better when you can see the entirety of the cards. But yeah, when you know which group is your group, you can go down to the description box below and find the timestamp for your particular group and click on that, and your reading should appear in front of you. And while you're down there in the description box below, make sure to check out my guide on how to book a personal reading from me. I love doing personal readings for you guys. It's always a pleasure. So please check that out. But let's focus on this reading right here. Choose your group and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, group number 1. You chose this Alphonse Mucha postcard here. And I'm going to start with some channeling, and then I'm going to shuffle these Waite tarot cards for you. So I'm going to do the channeling now. So Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 1, the people who will choose group number 1? The person on group number 1's mind, does this person talk about group number 1 in therapy? No, this person doesn't go to therapy. First of all, like that, this person would never go. And I don't know if you know something that I don't know, because, you know, I'm just sensing that this person would never walk into a therapist office, you know, not in a million years. Like, I don't think this person would ever do that unless it was court ordered, I guess. I guess that's maybe a possibility, that this person would go if they had to by law. Or maybe if this person got some kind of ultimatum from somebody, like that they need to go to therapy or they need to go kick rocks, you know, something like that, something where, you know, where they felt like if they feel like they don't have a choice, maybe they would go. But I just feel like it's very unlikely, because this person is not somebody who believes that they have any issues, or that there's anything that they can learn or anything that they can get out of therapy. You know, they don't believe that they are the problem, first of all. They don't think, like, they feel like if they're not the problem, why do they need to be fixed, you know? Like, that doesn't make any sense. When the problem is everybody else, then everybody else should be going to therapy, really. Like, if it should be fair, then I know it's quite hard to follow this person's logic, because I know that you feel like this person is, you know, this person is someone that really, really needs therapy. And, you know, therapy was created for people like this. So, you know, it's funny that this person is so against it. But it is what it is. But it's because this person believes that they are like the blameless victim of all their predicaments. Like, every time they see themselves in some kind of predicament, it must be somebody else's fault. Like, it must be their mother's fault, or their father's fault. It must be their spouse's fault, or their kid's fault, or it could also be the house's fault, you know, or the town's fault, or, you know, it could be the country's fault, really, you know. It could be anybody's fault. It could be, you know, the politician's fault, you know, the president's fault. Like, there's really no limit to, you know, to any, and like, this person will every time this person gets in a predicament, this person will be creative and find somebody to put the blame on. And, you know, it gets old, but, you know, oh God, this is a character. I feel bad for some of you that you have had to deal with this person. Because it's frustrating, because, you know, the problem is them. They are the problem. They are the number one cause to all their issues and all their predicaments. Every time they get into some trouble, it's because they did something wrong. But, you know, they never see it that way. Never. Like, so they will always try to escape, you know, like, by, you know, if they get in some trouble, they will blame it on their spouse, if they have one, and then they will just get a divorce, and that's going to fix the problem, obviously, because then they can get rid of the problem and move away, and then they will be much better off, you know. But then when they move away and get divorced, and then they are suddenly living alone, and they realize, you know, they still have the problem. Like, how can that be, you know? And they just don't realize, like, they don't see the connection. They don't realize well, maybe I need to look inwards, because maybe there's something I keep taking with me everywhere I go. Even when I try to escape, it's like something is following me. What is that? You know, maybe it's them. Like, they are following themselves. Like, they take their own baggage and their own shitty personality with them everywhere they go, and they never really, you know, I know I shouldn't say this person has a shitty personality, but, you know, this person just has a personality where they just don't realize their actions, like how their actions are affecting other people. And, like, this person is somebody, like, I'm sensing that for most of you, this person is someone who would tell somebody, you know, you're ugly. And then, like, when the other person says, like, well, you're kind of ugly too, you know, you're not very good looking yourself, you shouldn't be talking. If somebody says that to them, they will feel very, very offended by that and feel like, oh, why are you so mean to me? Like, why are people always turning against me? Like, even though, you know, that you, like, like it's so frustrating that this person doesn't realize that the only reason why they got that comment is because the other person was giving them a taste of their own medicine, that they created this, they did it first. You know, they deserve what they got because they just did the same thing to the other person, and the other person has the right to defend themselves and say something. Also, I feel like sometimes people just say something kiddingly because they want to, you know, because this person is very blunt, and some people do, like, of course, people react differently to how, like, to people who just say whatever is on their mind, even if it's very, very offensive and very, very unflattering. To just say something nasty without really realizing the impact that it has, like that sort of like. But I think this person just feels like everybody is turning against them, and they don't understand why people are so mean to them, and why people say the things that they say to them, and they don't understand why they have, you know, somehow like backed themselves into a corner. Like, why is that? Like, they don't understand also why people are distancing themselves. They don't understand why they feel so lonely. Why they feel like, oh, like they feel lonely. They feel very alone, and they feel like nobody really likes them, and that they feel very frustrated that they can't make anybody like them. You know, that it's out of their control. And in a way, I think this person just believes that everybody should like them naturally, like that this should just be an automatic thing, and that they never really thought that they should maybe deserve it, that they should deserve the respect that they get from others, that they should do some things to earn that respect. They don't get that. They just feel like people should respect them nonetheless. There should be some kind of unconditional respect that people should just instantly have for them, and unconditional love too. I think this person just believes that, you know, it doesn't matter what they say or what they do to people, because people should just suck it up and stop being such crybabies. But the thing is that every time somebody says something to them, they are the crybaby, but they don't realize that. Like, it's so frustrating that this person lacks the self-awareness to understand that, you know, first of all, this person needs therapy. You know, they could really benefit from it. And I think they need somebody else's perspective. They need somebody to talk to them and see them objectively and give them advice on what they see in them. Like the troubles that this person has, and the things that this person does that aren't working for them and are causing them to feel so lonely, feel like nobody likes them, feel like nobody loves them, like that sort of thing. Like that, it of course it's very sad that this person feels that way, but the thing is that, you know, they also have a part in that, and until they figure that out, that they are actually, you know, the cause of why people like don't want to be around them. And it's not because of their, like, it's not just because of their person, like, it's not their personality, because their personality in itself, they have other traits to them, they have other characteristics than just being rude. They're not rude all the time, and when this person is not being rude, this person might have some delightful things about them, but it's just that people get offended. People don't like to be called some names or be criticized, or, you know, told that they need to lose weight or something. That's just you know, that's gonna make everybody want to close that door and say, you know, you don't get to come here. You know, you're not welcome here because you're being very mean. But it's, I don't know, I feel like it might be different for all of you. I'm just sensing one, like this energy here. It's coming through very strongly that, first of all, like the answer for all of you is that I don't believe this person talks about you in therapy, because I don't think this person goes to therapy. And if they do go to therapy, which would be a miracle, I don't think this person would take advantage of that miracle and actually work the therapy in the way that they should be working it. I think this person would just sit there in therapy, silent, and try really hard not to get therapy, even in therapy. Like they would just, refuse to answer questions and only answer questions with like one syllable answers. And, it would just be so frustrating for a therapist to have to deal with this person. And I feel like it would require some kind of goodwill hunting moment, I guess, something like that, to get this person to somehow like open up in therapy. But I think it like I don't think it would happen, because I don't think there really isn't a therapist out there that could open this person up. I don't think so, because this person is refusing therapy. So like, what, you can't force somebody to have therapy, like, and it would take more than the 10 sessions that people usually get in therapy like that. So I don't think it would be successful. And so, yeah. So I think that's all I have for you. Group number 1, I hope this reading was helpful, and have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 2, you chose this Alphonse Mucha postcard here, and I'm going to start with some channeling, and then I'm going to shuffle the cards for you. So I'm going to do the channeling now. So Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 2, the people who will choose group number 2? The person on group number 2's mind, does this person talk about group number 2 in therapy? Yes. What do they talk about? What does this person talk about in therapy about group number 2? Their regrets. They regret things that happened between you two. They feel like they acted out of fear. They were anxious. They acted in a poor way, and they talk about what happened between you and this person. That is something that they talk about in a group setting with like a group of people where they all share something. And I think this person has shared maybe a little bit intimate details about what happened between you two. And I hate to say that, because of course I think you might be more comfortable knowing that this person talks about you maybe more in like as a concept, or maybe like in broader terms, not necessarily in private details. But I think this person has shared some private details about what happened between you two, and it's because this person needed to get that lifted off their chest. But it seems like whatever this person has talked about, it's not something that reflects badly on you. It reflects badly on them. And that's why they share it, because it's something that is troubling them. They feel like they were too chicken shit to do something about whatever was going on between you two, like that they felt like they were down prioritizing you over something else, like that they made, like they made a bad decision, they showed very poor judgment, and they acted in a way that they wouldn't have acted if it wasn't because of either their anxieties, like I don't know if this person struggles with anxiety, I don't know, or if this person struggles with addiction, which I kind of feel like is maybe a little bit more likely. But if this person struggles with addiction, I feel like this person feels like they chose their addiction over you and acted poorly towards you because of their addiction. But I think they own up to what they did, but that they also feel like if there wasn't something competing with your attention, you know, that if they didn't have that thing that was always screaming at them and causing them to give that attention because it was always demanding attention, when you were maybe not demanding the same attention as the addiction was, that you were not trying to be overly demanding, that you were not constantly craving this person to have their eyes on you all the time, that you were not really being so persistent in, and it's not a kick at you, like it's not trying to make you feel like there was something that you could have done differently. It's not like that. I think this person just feels like sometimes the addiction won, and that they feel ashamed that the addiction won over you because but they also feel like you were maybe a little bit passive to the point where they would have, like, I know that this sounds very unfair, but I think they would have wanted you to just scream at them and be like, now you're gonna take the right choice here and choose me. I deserve this. I deserve your attention. And, you know, be a little bit more craving this person, being like, and shaking this person. But of course, you know, that was not your job. It was not your job to make sure that this person would choose the right thing when the choice was really made already. Like, I feel like with addiction, there really isn't a choice. It just seems like there's an illusion of a choice where you can choose between one and the other, but the addiction has already won. So, but I feel like this person feels still like they still take accountability for acting poorly, and they feel regretful. And I think this person has shared stories where they were a douchebag to you. Something where they chose to go out when you really needed them. That they were not there in the moments where you had it terribly. And that the only thing that you were demanding was their presence, and that was not good enough in the moment. You know, it was not. I know that sounds very weird, but it makes no sense. But it wasn't good enough to just demand it. And I think this person needed some kind of visual representation of, like, I feel like if you had made a PowerPoint or something, you know, like, I don't know if that would have worked, but I think you needed to really spell it out to this person that, you know, or at least giving this person some kind of ultimatum that, you know, if you're going to be such a big dick to me at this moment and walk out on the most important day of my life, not being a part of it, because you are choosing your own self-absorbed habits over me, you know, that sort of thing. Then, like, if you had spelled it out to them, like, maybe, like, again, but I feel like it's kind of hard to make sense of this person's like whatever this person has been talking about, because there is a part of this person that keeps sometimes trying to, like, they keep trying to spin it a little bit, so that they don't take complete ownership over it. But I feel like that's maybe also some kind of coping mechanism, that they know they did something wrong here, but owning up to it, of course, owning up to it would also mean that, like, in an addict's mind, if this person is an addict, of course, owning up to everything that they've done means that, there's no chance for them to ever return back to the addiction, because then, that there would be too much damage that was created because of the addiction, that, they could never repeat that again and cause all that trouble on their loved ones again, if it was all the addiction's fault and their fault for letting the addiction have such a big space in their life. But if they can somehow spin it and say, people could also have been a little bit more, demanding, and people could have been more, more direct to them, and instead of asking them politely if they can go to your wedding or whatever it was that they weren't a part of, like that, if they weren't asked politely but demanded, that their presence was demanded completely, like by force, it would have been different in their mind, and they feel like, why didn't people just force them to do it instead of walking on eggshells. So yeah, I don't know if this person completely owns up to it, but I feel like it's because this person is keeping the door open, because if they can teach other people how they can get their attention when they are under the influence, if they can teach them how, like, teach people around them how to do that, they could maybe go back and start again and develop this addiction again and start it all over again, and do it differently now, because now this person has trained everybody to be more demanding, be less passive, not walk on eggshells, beat them up if they are doing something terrible, beat them up if they are missing out on something important, so that they can uphold this habit without missing out. But they're always missing out, but they just don't really realize this. I feel like this person has a little bit of that. It's a little bit of a blur. Like, it's like their judgment is very clouded by what they actually would want to be doing right now. They want to use, they want to do drugs, and so, or whatever it was, and so I don't know, like, I can't really tell you really what's going on here. I'm just telling you what is being said, and of course this is my analysis of what is being said in the therapy, that I feel like this person is maybe going back. It feels that way, like if this person is going backwards. I don't know if therapy is necessarily that good for this person, because I feel like they are being tempted somehow to find a solution like that. It seems like the therapy is really just giving this person equipment to maybe figure out how they can be more effective in doing it the next time without ruining their connections with all the people that they love, if that makes sense. But with the anxiety thing, like I felt like there was, of course, this person could self-medicate because they have anxiety, or because they have undiagnosed ADD or ADHD, or maybe, you know, undiagnosed autism that causes this person to self-medicate in other ways. But I don't know. I'm going to shuffle and see what the cards have to say about what this person would say in therapy. Or what this person has said, what this person has said in therapy. So I guess this is what this person would say in future tense, and this is what this person would has already said. Okay. Okay, what this person has already said, I think this person says that they want to figure things out with you. They are maybe not really looking for smoothing things out with you, because I think this person feels like they have tried to do that in the past, tried to smooth things out, tried to be like, okay, yeah, but you know, let's figure out how to talk to each other without talking about the elephant in the room. But I think this person actually wants to talk about the elephant in the room now. I think this person has been talking about that in therapy. Of course, I don't know really when this person was in therapy, if it was a long time ago, or if it's yesterday, or I don't know when this person was in therapy. But I think this person did come to some kind of conclusion while talking in therapy, that maybe this person needs to address the elephant in the room, talk about, you know, the actual issue, and be upfront about it, and be blunt about it, and really tell you exactly what was the reason why they were being an asshole to you, and, you know, give it to you straight and be a little bit more honest, because, you know, the past is all about secrets. I think you don't, like, in a way, I think this person was successful in hiding a lot from you, a lot of things that you don't know about. I think maybe intuitively you know about it, but I think this person, of course, this person doesn't realize the intuitive aspect of this, that, of course, you know, an addict doesn't really think about how, like, about the fact that people can really easily see through them, you know, because I think they do believe that they are somewhat invisible. If they, like, you know, I think it, you know, it could be the influence that makes them think that way, like that. But I don't know, like, it's not to take light on this matter, but I think it seems that this person, you know, this person wants to say the things that they were hiding from you, tell you what was actually going on. When this person told you that they couldn't come because of certain things, like that they might have also been mean to you and told you that it was because they didn't want to go, when they actually wanted to, but just felt like they couldn't because of their state of mind, you know, because they were under the influence and felt like, you know, they would do more harm than good by being there, because they were afraid that, you know, people would notice, people would see, and people would be embarrassed, and maybe that would be embarrassing to you. So they tried to maybe relieve you from that embarrassment, also relieve you from having to experience that. But in the way that this person did it, the way that this person spinned it in a way where it was like, oh, it's just, I don't want to be there. I don't like that this person made it out as if it was their opinion somehow, like that, like if it was a wedding that this person didn't go to, this person might have said that they don't even like the person that you're getting married to, or something, that's why they don't want to go, because they don't actually agree with the whole premise of the wedding, like that they don't like the choices that you've made or something, which is completely out of line if that happened to you. But I feel like it might have just happened to one of you, which is also enough, because nobody should go through something like that. But the thing is that this person was just coming up with some kind of excuse not to go, and this was the only thing that they felt like they could say that would make themselves look so much like an asshole that you would not even question this, because you would just be like, okay, fuck you for saying something like that, and you don't even get to be at the wedding. You're not invited anymore because you're a fucking asshole. And if you said something like that to them and they felt, okay, yeah, now I'm off the hook. Now I can do whatever I want to do. Now I can go back to my addiction and be isolated in my life because I've distanced myself from everybody I love. And so it's a tricky thing. But the thing is that this person wants to say, that all the things that they did, the worst things that they did, was not actually something they meant. It was just, sabotage. They were sabotaging for themselves. They were making sure that they burned every bridge, because they didn't want any visitors, because they didn't want people to know that they were, under the influence. They didn't want people to find out because they were ashamed of themselves, and that they also didn't want people to have to put up with that. And that of course also because their addiction wanted them to be isolated, because, the only threat to an addiction is people finding out, because when people find out that somebody is completely addicted to something and that it's killing them, they want to fix it. They want the person to get help, and getting help means never doing drugs again. And that the person who's doing drugs doesn't want to do that. And so they have like a difference in they have a difference in opinion on that. Like they don't. That's a difference in interest also. It would go against their interest to have somebody invade their space, because because the addiction is very destructive, and it is a complicated thing, this, but yeah, I think this person is sorry though. But this thing is that people who have addictions, of course the addiction makes them a terrible person, and that this is just it's a terrible thing, because it's really hard to get out of this mentality. Because I think even though this person might be clean now, it's a part of their personality now, that they are trying to find a way to get back there. They want to, they are always thinking of some kind of cunning way to trick people again and get away with it, and maybe be better this time to get away with it, because last time they failed, and so they just need to think, they need to work smarter this time, that sort of thing. And it is very unflattering, and it's very, not just unflattering, it's just very frustrating. So, but with the Two of Cups, this person talks about you as someone they love, out of, they love you from the bottom of their heart, you are their heart, in many ways. You're someone that they also feel like they owe you something. They owe you a lot. they are in debt to you. And so if you feel like you let this person down a little bit in the last few years, I don't know if you do. Some of you probably don't, because maybe you just hate this person's guts and feel like this person has, made their bed and now they just have to lie in it. And I get that. I get that you would feel that way. But if some of you, for whatever reason, feel like in the last few years you haven't been very good at reaching out to this person and finding out if this person is doing okay, and that you haven't, talked to this person for a long time because you felt like maybe you're just still hurt by the things that this person did back when they were addicted, or maybe also times where they weren't addicted but still had that same personality where it just didn't feel like you could trust them. It's okay, because this person doesn't actually feel like you're like you owe them anything. They know you don't, and they understand why you don't want anything to do with them. They understand it. I know that it might not really feel that way, but I feel like this person has that, or I don't know if they feel this from the bottom of their heart, but I feel like they talk about this in therapy, and so of course they could be bullshitting everybody at this therapy session, I guess. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just being manipulated by their words. Of course, I'm just trying to, tell you what they have been talking about. So of course I need to be a little bit unbiased in delivering this. So I can't read too much into it, but I feel like this person has said that, you don't owe them anything, and that they understand why you have distanced yourself from them after they distanced themselves from you. That's only natural. And so that's what they're saying. And I think they know that, they want to make it up to you. They don't know how to, especially since you don't want anything to do with them, possibly. So they don't know how to go about this. I think they want to talk to you. They want to reach out. They want to have something with you again. They want to have a connection with you. They want to be able to call you and talk and just listen to you talk about your day or something, and the problems that you have at work, or they want to get invested again in your life. And I think they also miss you, because I think they believe that you two had such a good way of communicating up until this person became like a cunning asshole. Then I think you two actually were, very compatible. And if this is a family member, I'm more sensing, because you can be compatible with a family member too. Like it feels like, you can match up with a family member in a friendly way, where you feel like, you have a good way of, understanding each other's jokes, and, understanding each other's banter, and what you both have. Like when you talk about somebody that you're tired of, or, somebody at work who's being like a lazy asshole to you, and, like that sort of thing. It would always make this person crack up listening to that sort of thing. I think this person kind of misses the friendship you two had. If you had a friendship, of course. If you didn't, then I just think this person felt like there was some potential. If this is anything other than a family connection or something like that, then I feel like this person thought there was potential here, but it felt like, there was it wasn't. it wasn't really lived out in the way that they thought it would. Like they had envisioned you two having more together, like more of a connection with each other, that it was abrupted or interrupted too early by themselves. They know that they were causing this, but I think they feel like that it just ended prematurely. Like they would have had more time with you, but they didn't, and they understand that too. With the 10 of Pentacles reversed, I think this person believes that, you know, like especially if this is a father of yours, like the father or your, like if it's a family member, a father or a mother, I think this person believes that you haven't inherited what they had, which is a very good thing. And so I think they have talked about that in therapy, that they are just so grateful that you don't have that gene. Or of course this person would blame it on genetics, and I think they believe that they are also a victim to their own genetics, that if it wasn't because they had this gene, that they would be okay, you know, that they wouldn't have this addiction if it wasn't because they were prone to it, because their grandfather or their father and maybe their great-grandfather also had an addiction, and so it just seemed like it was something that ran in the family. Of course, the environmental factor here is very, like the social factor is very important in terms of, you know, addiction. So I don't know if it's all genetics, or whether it just was because it was more normalized in this family, that everybody believed that, you know, oh, okay, we're just alcoholics, so that's just how we are, that's just the family trait, or something, yeah, trait, you know, family trait, you know. You know, I was gonna say it like trait, TRAIT, but then, you know, it is a trait too, you know, because if they're all, like if it's just a family of alcoholics, stay-at-home alcoholics, you know, then it is a trait, I guess. And I don't know, I just feel like it's almost like this person just gave up and just thought, okay, if this is what I'm prone to, if this is just how things are, because I have just been, you know, been birthed into the wrong family, then I just have to embrace what I've been born to do, you know, that sort of thing. And, you know, it's a very easy way to just, you know, take away all the blame from this person, like from themselves. And, you know, I think they are just grateful that somehow you have broken that chain, like that you don't seem to show any signs of being the same way as this person was, that it hasn't rubbed off on you, which this person is very grateful for. I don't think it was their doing, though. I don't, like, of course, I think maybe if you had some tendency or have had periods in your life where you have felt more prone to maybe doing something like getting yourself into some addictive behavior, I think it was maybe because of your dad or your mother, or like it was maybe their influence. So I think it wasn't their doing that you didn't actually choose this path, you know. But I think they know that too, that it's your... But I feel like they still think it's like you are just lucky that you don't have this gene somehow, like that. And that's just a weird way to look at it. But okay, it doesn't matter. So this is what this person will be talking about in therapy. Maybe in the future, or maybe hypothetically, I don't know. Of course, if this person is dead, then I don't know why you would be asking what if this person is talking about you, like in present sense. But of course, maybe some of you have just changed the question a little bit, and that's okay. But I'm getting something in the future that, I feel like this person might just want you to come to them. That this person is just maybe just, even though this person has had all these talks about what this person wants to say to you and do for you, and like that they owe you so much and they want to give you whatever you deserve, and like something like that, is also like there is a passivity in the future. I'm sensing that this person doesn't seem to have the motivation. And it's not because you aren't like a big motivational factor for them, it's just because this person is a little bit broken in terms of getting motivation, like being able to feel motivated. It's just a really foreign concept for them. And it might be because this person has been under the influence in a long time, and that has maybe just killed their motivation completely. But I feel like they just don't seem to be that motivated. Maybe they just feel like it's an uphill battle, and they don't like battles. They don't like to have to, work too hard. Like that's why they have escaped in drugs, like that's the easy way to get rid of your problems and get out of your problems, just to, shut it off, So I think that's maybe like, I think this person is a little bit too lazy to do something about this, but I think this person has a lot of good intentions. It's just that these intentions don't really translate into actions, and that's a shame. So I don't know if this person is ever gonna, do anything about this, unless you talk to this person, unless you reach out to them. I think they want you to do that because they don't even know if you're even interested in talking to them. So they don't really want to have to experience that rejection of trying to reach out to you and you saying no. That I think they just want to be sure that they are even wanted or welcome in your life. Maybe also because you maybe took away your invitation in terms of allowing them to be a part of your life. Maybe you have closed the door, and so maybe they feel like, okay, yeah, there is no way back, because they are not welcome here. You're not welcoming them, and that's your choice, and that's okay. It's okay. They understand this. I think they actually, from the bottom of their heart, they understand this. They understand why you don't want to see them. And, in the future tense, they're waiting for you to reach out to them, but they also understand if you don't want to. So yeah, that's the answer. They don't want to force you to do anything that you don't want to do. I think they feel like they have given you enough grief to also put that burden on you. And if you feel like, again, I just want to emphasize, because I feel like this is a big part of the reading, is that if you feel like you are that you are the asshole here because you haven't reached out, or because maybe you closed the door and you feel regretful, maybe because some things happened after you closed the door, after you distanced yourself from this person, that it caused this person to maybe go deeper into the addiction or do a lot of bad things or make a lot of poor decisions because, or not because, it's not because of what you did, but it might have some kind of correlation to the to the timing. Like the timing was the same, and so of course you think that it would have something to do with that maybe it was your fault, but it would have happened anyways. You might have made sure that it happened a little bit earlier than it was that it was gonna, like maybe it would have happened later, but they would have still fucked up. They would have still done that. It has nothing to do with you. It was inevitable. And so, yeah. And this person has come to terms with it. That, they understand you. And I think therapy also helps them understand that they can't expect you to act a certain way towards them after all that they have put you through. So it's just that, I think therapy was very good for them. I think they learned a lot and they got a lot of advice, which may have also made them a little bit passive when it came to you, because I think maybe a therapist might have told this person that they shouldn't force it, that they shouldn't force you to make up with them or try to, give you an apology. Because, apologize. I think maybe a therapist might have told this person that apologizing is mostly something that's going to make them feel better, but it's maybe not going to make you necessarily feel better about what happened. And that maybe this person should just wait until you come back to them or try to seek them out. That maybe it's just better for them to, see if their presence is wanted, and if it's not, come to terms with the fact that their actions had terrible consequences, but that it is also natural and not something that they can be mad at you for, which they weren't mad at you, but I think a therapist might have made this very clear to them that they can't expect you to forgive them. Which is maybe good advice, but maybe also advice that has made this person quite passive. And maybe, just maybe, it would have been better if a therapist had told this person, you need to get back in there, you need to call this person, make it better, fix it. Fix everything you've done. Try, start tomorrow, start today on trying to relieve this debt you have to that person. And do it one step at a time, one good deed at a time, until you have that person's trust. But of course, I think that's not what was advised to them. So it is what it is. I don't know if there is a right or wrong answer here. So, but that's all I have for you. Group number 2. I hope this reading was somewhat helpful, and if it was, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And have a great day, and bye. Hello, group number 3. You chose this Alphonse Mucha postcard, and I'm going to start with some channeling, and then I'm going to shuffle these Rider-Waite tarot cards for you. But I'm going to do the channeling first. So Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 3, the people who will choose group number 3? Does the person on group number 3's mind talk about them in therapy? No. They don't talk about you in therapy. They talk about people who have had a negative impact on their life, and they don't count you as one of them. So I think this person is in therapy. That's quite clear that this person has sought counsel. This person knows that they need to talk to somebody, and that they seem to be aware that they have issues, which is a good thing, but it doesn't seem like they have talked about you. And for some of you, I feel like that's a compliment. For some of you, you might feel like that's a relief, even, that this person isn't talking about you. But for others of you, I'm kind of sensing that maybe you feel like this person should talk about you. Maybe because you feel like what this person did to you is something they should discuss with a therapist, because you might feel like the therapist needs to know in order to help this person, in order to make this person a better person. They might have to discuss this. Maybe because you feel like this person overstepped your boundaries, or maybe you feel like this person was a dick to you. And so it would be quite nice if this person could get somebody else's perspective on what happened, and maybe also, you know, that the therapist could maybe help this person realize that they were in the wrong or something. I don't know what you want to happen here. I'm just sensing that some of you kind of hate this person's guts and are hoping that this person is learning from that experience. And if that's the case, I feel like this person might just not want to talk to their therapist about this, because it doesn't paint them in a very good light. So maybe they're waiting for that discussion. Like maybe they're kind of pushing it forward, and maybe they don't even think this is ever gonna happen, that they're gonna talk about this with their therapist. Maybe because they feel like, you know, it's not one of those stories where they are the victim. They're not the victim of that story. Maybe they pick and choose a little bit, and they're maybe only selecting to talk to their therapist about the things where they were victimized, the things in their childhood where somebody was mean to them, somebody did something to them, where they were neglected, where they were abused or something. But they focus on that because, you know, maybe it's easier to get pity points from their therapist with those stories. And maybe that is the things that this person also believes that they can benefit from talking about. Like that it benefits them to talk about this and get through the trauma that they have. Of course, they don't need to heal the trauma that they imposed on somebody else, if that makes sense. Like they don't see, like it doesn't make sense, but it does if, like they don't see that. They don't see that this is something they need to learn from, because it's not, like they don't really see the relevance in talking about that in therapy. I think that's just what I'm getting here. And that's maybe a slap in the face, I don't know. But maybe when this person has healed the trauma that they have been the victim of, where they have, you know, like if this person really gets through that and, you know, gets to maybe a conclusion on like why they are the way that they are now, and why they maybe also treat other people badly, maybe because of course, that's just a way to find an excuse, I guess. But I think maybe when this person has healed their trauma, they might realize what they did to you, but maybe they need to go through that process before they can get to that conclusion. And maybe then they might discuss this with their therapist, possibly, but that seems to be somewhere out in the future. And so I don't know what you can use this message for. I guess it's maybe not the message that you were looking for, but I'm gonna shuffle, because this is a tarot reading, and I kind of course I am sensing that this is a no, that this person is not discussing you. I could get some confirmation on that, just to see if the cards agree with me. So I'm gonna do that. Okay. Yes, this person is okay, so I guess this person knows that they need therapy. It's kind of funny, because somehow this person has come to this conclusion that this would be a benefit for them. I don't know if this person has narcissism or something, because, it seems like this person has that self-awareness. And, a narcissist would never go to therapy, or that's what I would have assumed. But maybe if the narcissist believes that they could maybe benefit from that, maybe they see that as something that could maybe also give them like a place, a space to talk about themselves. So maybe that's the thing, that they just like to talk about themselves, and so they go to therapy to talk about themselves, because the therapist gets paid to listen, so they can talk and talk and talk over and over about the things that they believe was very unfair to them. So I feel like this person maybe uses therapy, maybe not in the way that I would believe would be the best way for them to use it, because they're not actually working the therapy. It's more like they just got a stage, they can stand on, and I know, like, for some of you, I know that maybe I'm being a little bit rough on this person, because I feel like it's a spectrum here. Like, for some of you, this person is maybe not that terrible. For others of you, I feel like you can't stand this person. Like, you really have a lot against this person, and believe that this person, should be getting some consequences for their actions, and maybe you're hoping that this is going to happen in therapy. But it seems like nobody can really see through this person, because this person is quite cunning. This person is very manipulative and very good at twisting things to make it appear as if they are the victim. And of course, when they are in complete control over the narrative in like a therapy session, they're just going to make things up. They're just going to, show things from a perspective that paints them in a good light. So they pick and choose, and they also fabricate. And I don't think that's actually what you're supposed to do in therapy. I think therapy should be an honest conversation with someone where you actually talk about the things that maybe also paint you in a bad light, because you need to talk about those things too, because that's the only way to grow, is to realize maybe I didn't do exactly what I was supposed to do in that given moment, but now I'm learning from it. And it's good to have somebody to talk to, somebody who's objective, somebody who can look at the situation a little bit more from the outside, and someone who can tell me, okay, I maybe I overreacted, maybe I shouldn't have pushed somebody away, but then, it's just nice to maybe have somebody tell you that, but I feel like this person has found a therapist who is also just really good at, you know, making this as pleasant as possible for this person. This person, like this therapist doesn't confront this person. They don't try to, you know, challenge this person's mindset or ask this person, could things maybe have been different if you had, you know, if you had maybe acted a little bit differently in this given situation, would the outcome maybe have been better? Like that sort of thing. It seems like this person has gotten some kind of people-pleasing therapist, and maybe they chose the therapist very wisely. Maybe they have been to several therapists, and every time the therapist starts poking at this person, they just find a new one. Someone who's going to say whatever they want to hear. So I don't know if that is how therapy should work. I don't think so. But yeah. But the thing is that, like in the beginning, I felt like, you know, I wanted to applaud this person for actually getting their ass in therapies, because I felt like, you know, that's such a big step. But now I'm just starting to realize that this person is just abusing the whole concept. So I'm not applauding this person anymore. Okay, so, but the thing is that these two cards are actually upright, which is a sign that this person could be talking about you, but not you. So it's still a no on whether this person is talking about you in therapy. I don't think this person is talking about you, but they could be talking about, like, I'm getting two things here. Either it is that they are talking about you as, you know, a part of a bigger group, you know. So if this person is talking about their friends, you might be a friend of theirs, or you might have, or maybe you used to, I don't know. If that is the case, they might talk about their friends and you're a part of that. But it's not about you individually. So that could be one thing. I'm also getting that maybe this person talks about you individually, but it's so obscure, it's so far away from who you actually are and what actually happened. It's kind of this imaginary creature now, and it has nothing to do with you. But this person doesn't use your name or anything like that, so it's not like, don't be afraid that this person is doing that. Like, don't worry about it, because nobody's going to know that that's the person, that you're the person they talk about. And you know, that's of course a little bit of a slap in the face that this person talks about you, but it's not actually you. That kind of seems like this person's MO. I think this person just fabricates stories to make themselves look like they were the victim, that it was all like everybody else's fault, possibly. Okay. Or I don't think it's like I don't think they talk about it as if everybody else is at fault here or to blame here. Like, it's not like that. But I think they talk about things as if it's all just very, very sad for them. That they... Like, I think this person is good enough, like this person is smart enough to not say that it's all everybody else's fault, because they know how that appears. They know that a therapist will look through that, and they will know that it's kind of weird when somebody is talking about everything as everybody else's fault and not owning up to anything. But I think this person actually just talks about it, whatever happened, and they talk about it very much without any bias, or they try not to have, like they try to just paint the picture of what happened, and you know, they try to act like they don't even know who is to blame here. Like, I don't even know, like I'm just telling you the story. I genuinely don't know anymore, because I've been gaslighted so much to believe that I was maybe, you know, maybe I was the villain here. I don't know. You need to tell me, you know, that sort of thing, which is kind of odd, because this person doesn't mean shit by that. Like, it's just, it is acting. I think this person is very good at that. And, you know, I think this person just plays therapy as a game, you know. They're just trying to see, like, how good they actually are at manipulating people. And so it's like a test for them to test their own abilities. You know, maybe I'm being too rough on this person. I don't know. Like, I feel like this person has kind of manipulated me too. Because I feel like on one side, I feel like this person, like I kind of halfway trust this person, but then I don't. Like, and it's a funny feeling. Because, you know, everything that I'm saying, it's all terrible. But I feel like if I was in the room with this person, I would kind of believe them, I think. I feel like I could end up doing that, like, just because this person is so good. This person knows what to say and how to make people fall in love with them, and like how to make people feel bad for them, and like, and I kind of understand why nobody has seen through them, like, or if somebody has been able to, like if a therapist has been able to see right through them, I feel like they haven't completely, because I feel like it's really hard. This person has perfected their craft, like, really well. And I don't know, like, or maybe this person is just a genuine person who's just in therapy, just not really telling the things that paint them in a bad light, because maybe all of us have stories that we wouldn't tell a therapist because we know that it wasn't our proudest moment or something, that maybe that's just a very normal thing, very human thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making excuses for this person because they are getting in my head. Like, I don't know. Like, King of Wands. Okay, yeah, this person is a very good communicator. This person is smooth, you know, a smooth talker, good at making people trust them in a way that it's starting to be a little bit scary. Actually, like, I don't know what to say to you, but I feel like, of course, the question here, it was, like, is this person talking about you? And I don't know if I'm gonna use the tarot cards. I'm maybe gonna just use some of these Gypsy Oracle cards, just to get a little bit more information about, is this person, like, yes or no, is this person talking about group number 3 in therapy? Oh God, that was too many cards. I'm not gonna take all, like, it's like 20 cards on the floor now. Like, I'm not gonna bother even picking them up. You know, this is just a sign to me that I'm not supposed to use these cards. So I'm gonna use these archetype cards instead. So okay, is this person talking about group number 3 in therapy? Okay, 2 cards, I can use that. Victim reversed. It says here, the shadow attributes of this card. It came out reversed, so I'm going to read the shadow attributes. It says, playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity. Inability to maintain personal boundaries. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna say, like, even though I was sensing in the beginning that this person doesn't talk about you, but that is because what this person talks about when it comes to you, it is such a fabrication of the real story that it doesn't even have anything to do with you anymore. But yes, this person talks about you. Nobody would ever know that that's you, because it's just such a, it's, so yeah, what I'm trying to say is this person, like, maybe I'm just going to say that I was maybe a little bit wrong in the beginning by saying no. Because the thing is that, even though this person, like, of course this person might not, well, it could also be that, they don't talk about you because they can't play the victim in this story that you two had. So maybe they choose, like, that was what I said in the beginning, and I feel like that could still be true. That, it could be that this person loves to play the victim, loves to talk about stories where they are the victim of that story. So if the story with you is not a story where they were the victim, why would they tell that story? They're not going to get pity for that. So they pick and choose the stories that, of course, these two cards are also reversed, which means that, okay, maybe it still is a no, but I still feel like this person has talked about something that sounds very familiar to what happened with you, but it's just, like, it's not familiar enough. It's just not, like, it doesn't make any sense, because that wasn't what happened in reality, so it feels like a fabricated story. So yeah, okay, so with a monk/nun reversed, it says negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. I don't know, it feels like what this person talks about in therapy is, also that maybe they felt judged. And so they might talk about not you in particular, because the card is reversed, and there is a lot of reversals and whatever, but it's not about you in particular, it's about you as a group. I think this person has maybe talked about how they feel like their friends or their past partners from early on, like that they felt like they never really, I don't know what connection you have with this person, but I feel like they talk about you in a group, like as a group, that you and other people, and you were judging them, that you didn't give them a chance because you were too quick to just assume that they were a certain type of person without even getting to know them and getting to know the real person underneath the surface. And that you might have had some prejudice, but not you as an individual, but I think they just talk about, you as your friend group or whatever, that they felt like people, and you were a part of that people, that people just in general always judge them, if that makes sense. So does this person talk about you in therapy? It's a complicated question. I don't know why it's such a complicated question. But I guess the conclusion is it's either a no, because it's not a victimizing story for them, and they don't want to talk about how they victimized another person, or they have talked about you victimizing them, which was just not a true story. So they fabricated a story about how you were the villain of some story that they have, you know, made into a narrative that is just so different from what actually happened, that I don't believe you could even categorize that as a story about you, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think I don't know, like I think this person really needs therapy, but I'm kind of like I feel like I want to suggest to this person that maybe they should stop, you know, like maybe they shouldn't go to therapy really, because they're not using it in the right way. So maybe they should just, you know, find something else to do, like spend their time maybe volunteering at some homeless shelter or something, instead of wasting their time on this self-improvement project that they have, which is not working, because they're just fabricating more and more stories about themselves and making themselves to be, you know, the blameless victim of everything. And I don't think that's self-improvement, but I think they believe that because it looks that way on the paper, like that they can tell people, oh, I go to therapy actually, like look at me, look at how self-aware I am, and look at how great of a person I am since I'm going to therapy, you know, that sort of thing, where it's just about how they appear to other people instead of actually what they can get out of it. Other than, of course, they feel like there are some benefits because they can make themselves out to be the hero of every story, and talking about, like, I think it's just always nice for them to talk about themselves. And yeah, that's what I have to say about you, about this person. Group number 3. So that's what they had to say about you in therapy. I guess it's a little bit of a vague answer, but I hope it answered the question somehow. So yeah, thank you for watching and have a great day. And if you want a personal reading from me, check the description box below for more information on how to get one. And yeah, bye. Hello, group number 4. You chose this Alphonse Mucha postcard, and I'm going to start with some channeling, and then I'm going to shuffle these Rider-Waite tarot cards for you. But I'm going to do the channeling first. So, Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 4? The people who will choose group number 4. Does the person on group number 4's mind talk about group number 4 in therapy? Okay, for the majority of you, the answer is a no, but that's because this person doesn't go to therapy. This person is not the type of person who would seek counsel from someone, and it's not because this person doesn't respect psychology and, you know, respect that is actually quite helpful for a lot of people, but it's just that this person believes that they are maybe a little bit too tough or something, that it's not for them, because they feel like, I feel like they have this feeling that it's going to make them weak if they go to therapy. Or it could also be that this person is very frugal and just believes that, you know, that they shouldn't spend money on something that doesn't have a payoff, financial payoff. So this person might just be, you know, financially responsible or something, but I just don't really see this person going to therapy for the majority of you. But I feel like for some of you, you know something that I don't know. And that is, I think you know that this person has been somehow forced to go. And that's the only way that I can see this person going to therapy, is if somebody dragged this person into a therapy session with them. And so I feel like maybe for some of you, it's for the minority of you, I feel like this person could have stretched themselves to maybe go to couples therapy, but it would, like, I'm kind of sensing that that's the only thing this person would say yes to. Because this person could say yes to going to therapy, like one-on-one therapy, but they wouldn't go. Like, they would tell somebody that they're gonna go, and they're maybe even gonna lie about it and say, oh yeah, I went to therapy Friday. It was very good, it was a very meaningful session, and I cried and everything like that. But truly, I think this person would just say that just to get you off their back, so that you don't bother them anymore. Maybe because this person I think this person knows that they have issues. They know that there are things that they haven't processed. And this person might have been to war or something, because I'm getting some PTSD things here that I'm sensing. And yeah, I feel like this person is not really ready to talk about it. So they try to tell people that they go, maybe just to get people to feel less worried about them, because they don't want people to worry. So it's just easier to tell people that they are already, trying to fix the problem. So I'm getting a lot of different messages here. So I know that it's not like everything here. It's not going to resonate with all of you. There might be some small things that's going to resonate with each of you, but it's just. But I feel like for most of you, like the common denominator here, for all of you, I actually think, is that this person is not the usual therapy type. So if this person was forced to do it, it would be out of character for this person. But the thing is that's not the question. The question is, has this person talked about you in therapy? And I feel like, of course, if this person hasn't gone to therapy, it's really hard to talk about you in that therapy session that they didn't go to. But for those of you where this person has been to couples therapy, I am getting something here, but it feels like that maybe you were maybe talked about kind of as like a footnote, not necessarily something that was actually, it wasn't a conversation about you. It was more like maybe I'm getting the word wingman. That's coming through, and I don't know what that means really in this context, because it doesn't make sense. It's therapy. You can't wingman somebody into therapy, or maybe you can. Well, that could be the answer, is that you might have been the one kind of forcing these two people, if it's a couple, maybe you force them to go to therapy. And so maybe they have talked about you as the person who got them to go, like who forced them into it. And so I don't think you were necessarily mentioned that much. It was just that you were the starting point. So I feel like if this is a couple, I feel like maybe there's also something about you being the wingman of them coming together, like that you were the one bringing these two people to become a couple, that you got these two people to meet each other way back when, like back in the past when they first met, that you somehow had something to do with that meeting. So maybe you were mentioned in that sense. I'm also getting for a very few of you that maybe you're the type of person who would have a crush on somebody and then, you know, not tell the person that you have a crush on them and not give any signs whatsoever that you have a crush on them. And then you would even, you know, push that person to maybe date somebody else. Someone who's not you, that maybe you have a tendency, like I know this is only for a few of you. I don't really know what the relevance to this reading here is, but I'm just getting the wingman thing coming through, that maybe you already, like maybe the person that you're asking about, maybe you have a crush on this person or used to have a crush on this person but didn't ever really make that clear to them, and to the point where you pointed at somebody and said, I think you two should date. You two seem like a good couple. You two seem perfect for each other, and pushed these two people to get together, and which was a beautiful thing, because if they are together right now, like that's perfect. Then you did your job as a wingman. But maybe you kind of regret that now, that you pushed them together, and I don't know. And maybe you still feel like there is some chemistry between you and this person that you're asking about. And maybe you're also kind of curious whether this person feels the same. And maybe you're also wondering whether you are the reason why they are having some issues in their relationship, that it could be because of you, because there is still something between you and this person. I know this is far-fetched, and I'm not sure if this is correct, but I'm just saying what I'm sensing here. And so I feel like you're not being mentioned in that sense, though. I don't think this person talks about you as someone who's getting in between them, or that you're meddling, or that you are, you know, causing them to have these difficulties within their relationship. I don't think so. And so you can be like, you can get that, like that, you can have that off your back now. Like, that's not a burden that you have to carry. You're not the reason why they are arguing. So just so you know. And also I'm sensing that, you know, maybe some of you or maybe have maybe pushed these two people to go to therapy because you want to clear your conscience, that you want to be sure that you have done everything that in your power to fix their relationship, so that you don't feel like you're the one who is, you know, sabotaging for them. And I think it is working. I think they are maybe figuring things out now, but you know, you should also maybe not put too much energy into fixing this, because if it doesn't work out between them, it would never be on you. It would not be your fault if it doesn't work out. You don't have to work overtime to make sure that you're not sabotaging something, because you're not. Like, you're not actually doing anything. You seem to actually be somebody who's doing the opposite of sabotaging anything for anyone. That you could easily have sabotaged this from the beginning by making your feelings known. Or again, I'm sensing that I'm not really catching the common denominator for all of you, and so I'm sensing I'm talking about something that doesn't really apply to all of you. So I'm gonna shuffle and see what the cards have to say. First of all, I'm gonna have to ask the cards, even though the cards don't like yes or no questions, and they don't like giving yes or no answers, but I'm gonna ask a yes or no question anyways. So of course it's not going to be a clear yes or no. The cards that are coming through, I'm just gonna have to read whatever comes through. So I'm gonna ask, does this person that group number 4 is asking about, does this person talk about group number 4 in therapy? No, with the 10 of Pentacles reversed, I don't think so. Again, like if they are talking about you, it's as a footnote, and it's not like there's no substance to it. And first of all, yeah, for most of you, the answer is still that this person doesn't go to therapy. And if this person does, this person doesn't talk about you per se. Might have said something like you're the one who got this person to go to therapy with their spouse or whoever they went with, because I don't think this person would go alone to anything. And if this person went to some kind of group therapy, it would have, like, still, maybe this person mentioned you as the person who as the referee, but not anything else. I'm sensing that this person might also feel like that would not be a good look for them, or maybe they feel like if they talked about, like, especially if this is couples therapy, if you know that this person is going to couples therapy, I don't think this person would find it appropriate to talk about you in therapy, in couples therapy, because, you know, talking about somebody else who is not their spouse in couples therapy, that doesn't look good for them. It's not going to make them appear in a very flattering light. And, you know, so they will, like, if it's couples therapy, they are focusing on the relationship. So, and not about you. So, if this is, like, if you are in a relationship with this person, and if you are the one who forced this person to go, and if it's not couples therapy, but some kind of therapy that you still force this person to go to, and you're dragging them to go, and you're making sure they go to their appointments and stuff like that, if that is the case, I don't think this person, again, I don't think this person talks about you, because they're not, like, they're not there to talk about you, and they're not there to throw you under the bus. Not that they would, or not that they have any reason to, you know, like, not that there's anything that you have done that could make them throw you under the bus. But I just don't think this person really feels like that this is the forum to talk about you, because they're supposed to focus on themselves, focus on bettering themselves, and making sure that they own up to what the things that they've done. And, you know, it's just, yeah, I don't think this person talks about you. So I know it's a very easy answer. I could just say no instead of going over this, like, repeatedly. I know that I'm just gonna have to get one card, like, just one more card about this question, because this is a tarot reading, so I have to kind of use the cards for something. Okay, I don't know if this card here, if this card is what I'm meant to read, because I feel like it might have already flipped before I even started shuffling, but I'm not sure. So, but with the Hierophant, you know, if this is couples therapy, this person is trying to be respectful. They are trying to do it in the proper way, and they are, you know, they are making sure that there will be no evidence or no like no doubt in anybody's mind that this person is not focusing fully on their current spouse. Like they will make sure that they sound like a loyal person, a person that is trustworthy, a person who honors the marital bond and stuff like that. So I don't think this person would talk about anything that goes against that, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it just feels like this person doesn't talk about you. So I'm just gonna end the reading here because this person doesn't talk about you. I'm getting something about this person talking about you as a wingman. But you know, that is just a footnote. It's just something that this person just might have joked about, that you were the wingman, causing them to either come together as a couple or go to therapy. This part. I feel like it's such a small thing that it doesn't even require mentioning, because it's just it wasn't really about anything about you, just that you were the start of something. Like, so yeah, I'm gonna end the reading here. And thank you for watching. Have a great day and bye. Hello, group number 5. You chose this Alphonse Mucha postcard. And I'm going to start with some channeling, and then I'm going to shuffle these Rider-Waite tarot cards for you. But I'm going to do the channeling first. So, Spirit, can you answer this question for group number 5? The people who will choose group number 5. Does the person on group number 5's mind talk about group number 5 with their therapist? Yes, this person talks about you in therapy. I feel like this person goes to some kind of group therapy, like something with a circle of people where they are sitting in a circle and sharing some stories to each other. I feel like this could be like some kind of PTSD thing, or anger management, or AA or NA or something like that. And it could also be some kind of anxiety group where they talk about their anxiety, or ADHD. I'm not sure which one, but I feel like it's a group therapy session. It's not one-on-one. And I feel like this person talks about you, or what happened with you too. And I feel like this person kind of uses their illness as an excuse to why it happened. I feel like this person has come to terms with the fact that they are not like everybody else. And I feel like they might have come too much to terms with this, to the point where I feel like they're kind of using it as an excuse, using it as a cop-out, to kind of not take accountability for their own actions, which I feel like is not really good for them, or not good for you either. I feel like it's kind of a slap in the face for you, because I feel like this person has done something to you that was very hurtful, very life-changing for you. It might have been, like, I'm sensing a lot of different things here. I feel like some of you might be asking about a family member, like a parent of yours who neglected you, or you're asking about an ex boyfriend or girlfriend, someone that you used to date, or someone that you dated once, but someone who did something to you that was overstepping your boundaries to the point where it might have been criminal. I'm also sensing that this could have been some kind of verbal argument that you might have had with somebody, maybe a friend or somebody that you just met, or someone who was like the partner to a friend of yours or something. I'm not sure what the relationship here is between you and this person, but I'm sensing that either this person verbally abused you, said something terrible to you, something really hurtful, or this person neglected you when they actually had, had a role to play, that they were supposed to be there for you, but they weren't, and maybe even made it worse by, saying some very hurtful things, doing some things to you that really formed you as a person, shaped you to be the person that you are today, and maybe also caused you to have a feeling like you're in a prison, in a way, that this person, with this person's actions, this person caused you to maybe restrict yourself, do things in a restrictive way because of this person's words, because of this person's actions. And also, if this is someone that you used to date, but someone but that they took advantage of you or overstepped your boundaries sexually or emotionally, it might have made you have trust issues where you don't trust people to have your heart in the palm of their hand, and that you're not trusting that people will take care of your heart to the point where they won't crush it, or where they won't, crush you. And that this has maybe caused you to live inside some kind of prison where you are restricting your behavior, where you would have done things a little bit more freely if this had never happened to you. And I think the person who's accountable is the person that you're asking about. And I feel like this person should probably be the one who's in prison for what they did to you. But they are free. They're out there roaming the streets. And, that that's unfair, that you're the only one who has to live with the consequences of this person's actions. But the thing is, I don't think this person really sees it that way. I think this person believes that they were a victim, that they were a victim to their own actions as well. That in a way, this crime that has been committed, whether it was a mild crime or an extreme crime that was made, I don't know where on the spectrum it is, but I feel like whatever this crime was, I feel like it is a kind of a crime. Even if this was your dad who neglected you, that's also a crime. The crime here, they've done something, but they see themselves as, they see this crime as a crime that has two victims. That you were victimized by them, but they were also a victim to their own actions. They were victimized by their own lack of control. That they were also in some kind of prison within their body. Like they didn't have control over what their body did. So in a way, they were trapped in their own body doing something that they didn't have control over, and that it was also kind of like an out of body experience for them, which is like, I feel like there are a lot of metaphors here that don't really add up with each other. How can you be in a prison but also be outside your body? But that sort of thing, it doesn't matter. But I think this person also felt like when they did this to you, that they were outside their body looking at what was going on, that they didn't have control over it because they had distanced themselves from their own actions to the point where they were not really in control over what was going on. And they believe this so much that they actually would say this, and have been saying this in a therapy session, that they didn't have control, And it was like they had this boiling sensation happening, this burning sensation in their chest or in their body, like everything was burning, and that they just felt like they saw red. And when they saw red, it was like something snapped, and they just, like, everything that happened after that was like they knew that they were going to do something. Like when they started having this burning sensation, they knew they were going to do something that they were going to regret, but they weren't really able to stop that process from starting, because as soon as it started, it's like a domino effect that, you know, as one domino has been like turned over, it's like, you know, there's no control over the chain of events that's going to happen after that. And I think this person believes this, even though I don't really believe it's I'm not, or I can maybe believe it to some degree, that this person is also describing something in detail that's happening inside of them that does seem like a lot of details for something that would be bullshit. Like, so I feel like to some degree this is their experience. And maybe it is true that they don't have control over their actions. But if somebody is not in control over their actions, doesn't mean that they don't have to take accountability for their actions. And this belief that, looking at it in retrospect, that they can justify what they did by saying, I was also a victim because I also did things that, you know, that I would have never done if it wasn't because my body just took over, and, you know, one thing led to another, and it, you know, that it's just this person's mindset now, where this person is trying to cope with what they did by saying that it wasn't really their fault here. This is where I don't really sympathize anymore, because I get that this could be a phenomenon. Even though I've never experienced it myself, I can understand that somebody can have this feeling that, you know, that something is boiling and they're just suddenly snapping and they can't stop themselves. I get it. I kind of get what maybe what they're trying to describe. I can picture it. I can kind of feel it on my own body, maybe, like by trying to imagine what is going on. But I feel like somebody who has this disorder, if it is an illness, of course they can use it as a reason, not an excuse. They can explain this to people and explain what is happening to people, but they still need to take accountability for what they did. And I feel like this person is not really doing that, but I feel like in therapy, this person is starting to get some help in terms of maybe getting rid of the trigger, or that when this person feels like it's happening, that this person might be taught some guidelines to how they are gonna make sure that they don't snap, so that they can take it before it starts being serious. So they can take whatever's going on and turn it over by maybe removing themselves from the situation, go for a walk or something, and make sure that they can somehow keep it at check by using these mechanisms to fix it. But I feel like this person has also just come to the conclusion that they just need to get rid of the trigger. So if you were the trigger, or if something you said triggered them, they might feel like, okay, they just need to minimize the time that they have with you to get rid of, or that they might have to talk to you and make sure that you don't say something that's going to trigger them and make them snap. And, you know, I don't think this person quite realizes that, you know, they have something that they need to fix inside of them. They can't fix what's inside of them by changing everything around them and fixing everything around them and making everybody walk on eggshells so that they don't get triggered. Like, I don't think that's how it works. I think it's better for them to just remove themselves when they can feel like something is boiling inside of them, that they just need to change their environment, go for a walk or something. I feel like that's a better way than to make people stop saying things to them or doing things that annoys them or puts them off or something like that. But I feel like this person has maybe been told that by a therapist, that they should go for a walk or count to 10 or something. But I feel like this person is kind of ignoring that advice and just still feels like they can maybe fix it by just telling the people around them that they should stop doing this and stop doing that. But I don't know. And I feel like this has also some, like, for some of you, this has to do with or for some of you, this person has a problem with addiction. And if this person has a problem with addiction, I just feel like this person believes that there is a trigger that triggers them to drink. And that this is out of their control. They don't have any control over this. Like, if they get triggered, it's like, you know, one thing leads to another, and suddenly the liquor store just attacks them, and they are just a blameless victim of this happening, and they just have to buy liquor like that and have to shove it down their throat because, you know, one thing leads to another. And that this, instead of, you know, analyzing this behavior, you know, the activity that they are actually doing, consciously doing, like going down to the liquor store, buying liquor, going home, opening the liquor, drinking it, you know, these, like, there's this chain of events that are very much, you know, at any point in this process, they could stop and say, what the hell am I doing? I need to maybe do something else instead. Like, instead, they just say, okay, there is a catalyst that has made all this happen. So I'm just going to blame it on this thing that caused this chain of events. And if you were the trigger, they might have talked about you in therapy as being the trigger, which is very, very unfair. But, like, if you're dealing with an addict, this is, you know, very common behavior for an addict. I feel like they're always looking for somebody to blame for their own actions. And they're always looking for a cop-out, something where they can get some sympathy from others by saying, okay, yeah, but this person stressed me out. You know, this person was putting all this blame on me and starting to talk about the childhood or the childhood that like, if it's a parent of yours, they might be like, oh yeah, but this person brought up like yeah, my daughter or my daughter or son or sister or brother, or if you're related in any other way to this person, like that somehow it has something to do with you, because you were the one bringing something up from the past and causing them to have to take accountability for some of the actions that they did in the past. And this was so stressful to them and so you know, painful, that they had to they had to drink, and that was just, you know, inevitable that would happen. And don't pay attention to this. Don't let this person guilt trip you, because it's easier for them to keep drinking if they can guilt trip the people around them into believing that it's somehow their fault, because then, you know, then they leave the person alone, you know. Then, you know, people, if you guilt trip somebody enough, then they are just going to be like, okay, yeah, but I'm like, or that's what they're hoping, that they can somehow feel responsible for their drinking and start enabling them because of the guilt. Which doesn't quite make sense, but it's also just a cop-out. It's a way to say, especially to the loved ones. I know my dad did this. My dad was an alcoholic, or is an alcoholic. He's still drinking. But when I was 16, he told me that I was the reason why he was drinking. Which is very fun to hear, you know. Like, but he said that because I caught him. You know, I caught him being, you know, blackout drunk, and so it was the only way for him to, you know, excuse his behavior, was to say that it was my fault, that it was just because I had stressed him out and that I had disappointed him. And so the disappointment of my behavior caused him to drink. And, you know, I know what he was doing. I know it was just a way for him to put the blame on somebody else, and also for him to, you know, because if he guilt trips me into believing that it's my fault, then I'm not second guessing what he's doing. Like, then I'm not blaming him, but then I can internalize that blame, especially when you're doing this to a 16-year-old, because a 16-year-old will always internalize that shit and believe it, because you know, you're practically a child, and so a child will always be, you know, suggestive to that sort of, you know, thing. So, but I feel like this person might have done something like that to you, because I'm reliving this in front of me, so I feel like it has some relevance to what you are experiencing with this person. Is that I think this person has tried to guilt trip you, has tried to blame you for their own actions. And, you know, I think, like, don't pay attention to this, because this person is just trying to find somebody to blame, because it's too hard for them to blame themselves. And so, yeah, I'm going to shuffle and see what the cards have to say about what this person is talking to their therapist about you. Okay, Justice, and the Four of Pentacles reversed. So in some way, I think this person is talking about maybe justice or legal action. If you have taken legal action against this person might talk about that in a group setting, in a group therapy session. I think this person has brought that up, and also brought up how that made them feel. Of course, this is kind of like a boo-hoo sort of thing, where they're like, oh, this person betrayed me by kind of getting somebody else involved, or calling somebody else on my ass, getting other people to pay attention to the things that were happening inside the house, inside the home, and that this was a breach of their trust. And I actually think this person is trying to plug it that way, which is crazy, but I would have hoped that I could tell you that this person has changed. This person has become a new person now that they have gone to therapy, or like been talking to a therapist. That this would have magically made them a better person, but I just don't really see that. I think this person is actually still kind of that belief that it's also very sad for them. Like they have, like they also come up with other excuses, like, you know, if this is your dad or your mother, they might say, you know, but their parents were never there for them. They were neglected as a child, so they don't know how it's like to be to have parents who are actually supportive and who are actually nice and sweet and not abusive to their children. And so they didn't have a role model to show them how that looks. So of course they abused their children too, you know, like verbally or physically or whatever. But that it feels like this is just their way to, you know, come to terms with, or not come to terms with the reality, by maybe pushing the reality away, not really wanting to take accountability, because it's just easier to say that they didn't know any better. You know? That they were just, you know, like a product of their environment. And so, of course, if this person is a violent person, they were maybe also brought up in a violent household, and maybe a violent neighborhood, tough neighborhood. So, of course, when you come from a tough neighborhood, you're also tough to the people around you and to the close ones to you, like the people that you love. You have to be tough to them too, because that's the only love language that you have learned, and stuff like that. It's just, you know, like it's so easy. It's just too easy to be like, you know, to use this, to be able to get away with anything just because of something that happened to them, or like because, you know, like, because, you know, if I had, of course I've had a, you know, a halfway, like, of course my childhood was not terrible. I'm not going to say my childhood was terrible, because it wasn't. There were good moments in my childhood that, and also it was safe. So, and it could have been much worse, definitely. But even if there is something that I could maybe use as an excuse, I wouldn't use that as an excuse. I would, like, because, you know, first of all, like, my dad is an alcoholic. I wouldn't want my children to be brought up in a household with an alcoholic, because I've experienced that myself, and I don't want that to happen to my children, like if I have children in the future. And I feel like that's a very natural response to experiencing trauma, is to not want to, have that happen again. But of course, people react differently to trauma. I get that some people feel like that's just the way of life, and that they have to repeat this cycle. I get it. And some people do it just subconsciously without even realizing that they're doing it. I get it. I understand that this is how life works. But I just don't really see that this person can use it as an excuse forever. Like that they could just always excuse everything that they do that hurts people, that puts people in a terrible situation where they are shaped and formed for life. That people need to start protecting themselves against this person and start losing trust in other people as well, and this person is just okay with that. That's just how it is. That's maybe just even good. That this person can toughen up the loved ones, like that this person can give their loved ones a reality check by beating them up and then being like, yeah, but that's how life is. That's life. You have to spank your children because that's the only way that they understand that they need to stop doing something that they're not supposed to do. Like that, that this kind of, kind of belief that somehow violence is not just the answer, but or not just justified, but actually the answer, if that makes sense. That this person believes that it is a solution, and the valid solution, the only solution. And I think this person has just been kind of fucked up from, but now I'm giving this person an excuse, because just saying that this person is fucked up and that's just how they are, that's exactly what they want me to do, to say to you, is to just accept that this person is broken and that there's nothing that can fix this person. And so you should just expect the worst from them. I feel like this person could have had like an overbearing parent, like a mother who was very smothering, and a father who beat the shit out of them. And I feel like that is a very terrible combo. That's also the Hitler combo, by the way. Like that when people have those two, like the two worlds, like the worst of both worlds, like that, this two extremes of either being completely smothered, completely spoiled, and then having somebody, tear you apart, and one person bringing you up, one person tearing you apart. I think it's just it messes people up, and I'm not giving this person an excuse, but it feels like they might have never quite recovered from this, and I don't know. But I feel like this person talks about maybe also that they feel like with a Four of Pentacles reversed, in a way, I think, like, even though this person wants you to just accept them for who they are and just, forget all the terrible things that they have done to you. I think this person still wants you, like, I don't know why this person wants you to expect the worst from them, but they also want you to just trust them. But it's funny, why would you trust somebody who says to you directly that you can't expect anything from them, or can't expect them to be decent to you, can't expect them to treat you nicely, but somehow you should also trust them enough to be able to, be in the same room with them, not running away from them, not trying to avoid them, that they feel like it's sad that you're avoiding them, that you're ignoring them, that you're blocking them. But that's because you can't trust them. This person has not, proven themselves to be trustworthy, so obviously you can't trust them. Why would you? But I think this person still believes that they deserve that you don't ignore them. I don't know, like, it doesn't make sense, does it? They want you to contact them, even. Call them. Which I don't know how they feel, like how they can feel like this is appropriate to expect from you when you can't expect anything from them. Okay, whatever, but I'm just getting a really, like, I'm getting a feeling that, this is a lot. Like, you have been through a lot with this person, and there's just so much more to unravel here. I feel like there's so much baggage, so much shit here that I feel like I can't even fit it into one reading. But I'm just like I'm gonna shuffle a little bit more of these archetype cards just to get a little bit more. I'm gonna wrap things up very, very soon, but I'm gonna just see if there's something more that this person talks about talks about you to their therapist about, or in therapy. What do they talk about you? Okay. It kind of doesn't quite make sense, but it says mystic, and maybe they feel like you're a mystery to them in some way, that they don't really know. Maybe there are some things here that is a mystery to them, things that has been hidden from them, and that this was maybe the thing that frustrated them, was that there was some kind of secret that you were keeping from them, especially if this is a family member of yours. There might have been something that you didn't want to tell them, maybe because you didn't want them to stress about this. Maybe because you knew that they either have a drug problem, or some problem with their anger management, or something, or some problem with alcohol. So there is something that might have made you feel like, you can't tell this person this because it's just gonna push them over the edge. So there might have been something that you kept a secret from them, and this might have triggered them to also drink, when they found out, or when somebody told them about it, when this was revealed to them, it caused them to maybe have a setback, and maybe they even used that as an excuse, that if you had just told them this, they wouldn't have started drinking again, but that you kept this a secret that made them, that was so hurtful and disappointing that they needed to drink. And this has nothing to do with you. It's again their choice, their actions, they could have chosen not to. So just because you had a secret, you are allowed to have secrets. As long as the secret doesn't directly affect them, you are allowed to keep things for yourself. You don't have to share with a person if you have suicidal thoughts, or if you, like, of course it would maybe be good if you shared that with someone, but not with this person, because this person would not be helpful with that, you know. This person is too self-absorbed. They would just start drinking, and then you would have to, you know, have that on your conscience, which would just make it worse, you know. Or you wouldn't have that on your conscience, but they would maybe try to make it so that you would have it on your conscience. They would guilt trip you, even if they know that you're vulnerable, even if they know that this could push you off the edge, because that's the thing. This person only expects other people to walk on eggshells for them, but they don't expect themselves to walk on eggshells for anybody, and they would never do anything or say anything just for the sake or just for the sake of somebody else feeling better, or like they would not change their own behavior because they know that somebody is struggling or have a hard time, or are experiencing something traumatic, or experiencing something, you know, something like grief or something. Like, this person would not change, and they would still give you a hard time, and they would still make it about them, because that's what they do. And so I feel like it's good that you didn't share this secret with them, because you probably knew deep down that this person would try to make it about them, and that you could just not really handle that at the moment, that was just too much. And you know what? That I feel like whatever this person is whining about in therapy, I don't give a fuck, because I think this person is just, again, trying to make it about them in therapy. Of course it is about them. The therapy is about them, but you know, it's just still, it's about, oh, it's so sad for me. And they don't really think about what could I have done possibly to make make this person, make you feel better, or, you know, how could I have at least tried not to make it worse? You know, that's not something this person has thought of before, or at any point in this process has they thought that they could have maybe made things easier for you. Yeah, but it's just, yeah, it is what it is. So with the athlete here, I'm gonna read the light attributes of this card. It says dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. Okay, I'm kind of getting I'm kind of getting the message here, even though the athlete kind of threw me off, because I felt like there wasn't really anything about anything athletic or sports, or, you know, something like that, or fitness or something. But I feel like this, like the dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps. I think this person believes they have a handicap. I think they believe that they are mentally ill, or that they have something that is, you know, a disability. It's a disability for them. And I feel like, even though I'm sounding unsympathetic, but I feel like this person is bullshitting, because I feel like it's not a handicap. I feel like it's kind of like giving the middle finger to the people who actually have handicaps, people who are actually disabled. You know, somebody in a wheelchair would not really take this person seriously when they say, oh, it's like I have a handicap too, because, you know, I'm not in control of my actions when I get angry, then I start beating people. And, you know, that's just my disability. And it's my burden to carry, you know. That sort of thing, like, nobody would take that seriously. Like, because it's just, God. I'm just, like, I'm getting that there are different things here. Like, that this person is, like, for all of you, the person that you're asking about, they're struggling with different things. Of course, if this person has actual, like, multiple personality disorder, of course, yes, that would be serious. And if this person actually detaches from their personality, becomes another person when they suddenly snap and they are suddenly a different person, and if they actually don't remember doing what they did to you because they were a different person at the time, that could be an act, like, that's a disability. I get that. And if this person has schizophrenia and the voices in their head told them that they had to pull a knife at you, that is a disability, and I get that. But if it's something other than that, I just don't really believe that this is an excuse that can be used in this context, because I just feel like it's just excuses. The other things, like that this person is not in control of their actions, that they suddenly see red and they suddenly get so angry and so frustrated that they just start throwing fits. It doesn't make sense. And if this person believes that, you know, I know that addiction is a disability, I get it, but it's just not really that. Is it a disability? Is it completely out of the person's control? Are they really a complete blameless victim to their own alcoholism, or are, you know, or would they really be suffering from this if there were no, like, if they were living like somewhere out of nowhere, far away from a liquor store, and didn't have a car, and like no way to actually get any alcohol? Like, would they be an alcoholic? Isn't it just their own actions? Like, in a way, is it a disability? Is it really? I just, like, of course I'm maybe biased because, you know, my dad is an alcoholic, and I don't have sympathy for it, because I believe that, you know, there is a chain of events that happen. Like, there's a lot of things like that where I feel like it somewhere along the way, somebody, like, before they get to the liquor store, before they buy the liquor, like, there is so many times, like, that somebody can say, okay, well, this is maybe a bad idea, you know, maybe I shouldn't do this, like, maybe I should just go home and not buy any liquor. Maybe I know that there are people that are homeless because they chose their drinking over, and I know that some people get really far into it, and I know that it is not so black and white as I make it out to be, and I get it. I know that it is serious. But if somebody starts blaming everybody else for it, that's where I don't have sympathy anymore. Like, if they can start pointing fingers and say, oh, you're a trigger, you're a temptation, so you need to get out of my life because you're tempting me to drink, and that you can't raise your voice at me because it's just gonna make me fall off the wagon again, so you can't say anything because you have to walk on eggshells, because my disability is that you need to stop stop confronting me. And that's just too easy. I feel that's too easy, but I don't know, like, maybe I'm just talking out of turn here. and I need to stop doing that. But yeah, I'm also gonna wrap this reading up, but I do feel like this person is getting a lot of whining time at the therapy, the group therapy that they're at. If they're in AA, I feel like it's not really doing them any favors, because I feel like they're just being, enabled by the people around them to even though they might not be drinking at the moment, they're still being enabled in this kind of unflattering blamelessness, where it's like, oh, it's the disease's fault, it's the addiction's fault, it's not me. And the detachment, I'm not really sensing it. I'm not really sensing that it's a good idea. That it's just like, it's like taking like a criminal, like someone who's in prison because they murdered somebody or did something terrible. There are people who are like, oh, you have to give them a chance once they are free, because it's such a, like, they need to be able to detach themselves from the crime that they did and stop seeing themselves only as a criminal, but start seeing themselves as a human being, and that this should not be a label that should identify them for the rest of their life. But it kind of should, because they chose to do this thing. And to detach a person from their actions is never a very good idea, because it's going to cause a bigger problem in the future. Because if they can always just detach and be like, okay, it's my actions are somehow separated from my being, then nobody takes accountability for their actions anymore. Then everything is just, oh, it's the disease's fault, or it's the addiction's fault. It is anything else but my fault. And that I just don't see it. I disagree with this. I disagree with this mindset and this mentality, and I feel like it's just making it more, like, it's making it harder to actually sympathize with people who have struggled with something like this, like addiction. Because addiction makes a person kind of unflattering to begin with, because it makes them cunning, it makes them a liar, and it makes them manipulate, and it makes them do anything that needs to be done in order to maintain the addiction. And so they start changing their personality and become kind of a person that is really hard to deal with. And then when they actually stop drinking and get to AA, first of all, like the AA, like I'm a Christian, but I feel like it's really not a good idea to make somebody who has already lost all the people around them because of their terrible personality while they were addicted, to then find Jesus, which is, something that people also distance themselves from, and it will make people kind of annoyed with the person, that the person is starting to be like all holy, high and mighty, look at me, I found Jesus. And it's going to make people feel like, okay, this makes me want to be in your company a little bit less, because also it's a little bit like a slap in the face that now you're kind of of this belief that everything happens for a reason. But this is also also a problem, because you have to still take accountability for your actions, and you can't also just say, okay, Jesus forgave me, so now I don't need the forgiveness of anybody else, because my sins, like, I've been forgiven for my sins, so everything is dandy like that. Like, now it's people want them to just take accountability. That's the only thing that people want them to do. And it's just taking away every accountability with the Jesus stuff. And then also, you know, with this mindset that is also being taught in AA, is that they are not alcoholism, that they are not their disease, that they are a separate person from their alcoholism, that they can't define themselves as, or they can define themselves as an alcoholic, but that they are not their addiction. Yes, they are, because they did that. Like, that's their own actions. They are still not separated from the actions, and it just feels like they're being given so many excuses that I just don't feel like it's actually working, and that suddenly they believe that they are disabled and that they're just carrying on this burden, like this terrible genetic fault, that you know, this flaw that they have, that has nothing to do with them, but it's just they were just unlucky to have suddenly gotten this terrible thing. So yeah, but I'm not gonna keep going, because I know that it's not very interesting to listen to, and I'm just ranting, and I know that there will probably be some comments down below that I'm ranting too much, I'm just repeating myself and just talking about the same thing over and over again, and it's just boring to listen to and all of that. And it's okay, because you don't have to listen, you know? You have a choice also. Like, this is also your choice. You're not like a blameless victim in this either, because, you know, you chose to listen to this reading. It is like, it needs two to tango here. So yeah, but let's wrap it up. And whatever my conclusion is, that, you know, I think the conclusion is just that this person talks about you in therapy. Yes, that's the answer, is yes. It's not necessarily what you want to hear, because it might infuriate you a little bit that this person talks about you, especially because they don't really take accountability to the full degree that they should be, you know. So it is annoying, but that is what it is. But you could maybe not expect something other from this person. This person does not seem like the type of person who would take accountability for their actions. So maybe that would have been a miracle. And usually miracles don't really happen that often. So yeah, people do act as we expect them to often. So, and people don't really break the cycle. And people don't change that much. They can start changing their behavior according to their environment to adapt to it. But they might still have that still inside of them. They're just masking it. And so I don't know. But I'm going to end the reading here. Thank you for watching. I hope it made some sense, and I hope you got something out of it. And have a great day, and bye.